everyone. Hello, the conservative poet folks, friends of the conservative poet. I am so happy that I decided to just video this journey. So I am on my way to our great capital, not the swamp, friends, not DC. I'm on my way to Tally. And so, it's about a 4-hour drive. And so I decided to, get on here and do a little conversation. And so that's what we're going to do. So first thing I want to talk about is I want to give an update on myself personally. So I don't normally talk about my personal life here on YouTube, but being that I did talk about being diagnosed a few months ago, back in October, with having a little bit of sugar, or I would have to say, a lot of sugar in my blood, aka the deadly diabetes. And so I discovered this back in October, and I made a video about my experience and, of course, learning about how this disease, is just a money maker for everybody involved. So everybody has a piece of this diabetes pie, and they prefer for us to be sick, and they create it in a way where we will continue to always be sick. And so I've always known that, like the FDA and that they're really not for we the people, but therefore these organizations that create these drugs to keep us hooked on phonics, right? They want to keep us hooked on their crap. And so, but now that I'm actually living the experience, not so good. And I've always been very health conscious. And so, but I just developed this sweet tooth about 1.5 years back. And I guess that's how all of this started for me. And so the event, it's done. This is where we are. We're fighting it. And so I want to say, now that I thought about it, I got some really great comments. I actually replied to the comments. So a lot of folks are still supporting when I decided to share this experience here on The Conservative Poet. And, I had some champions that says, you're going to beat this. Just do this, do that, and do this. Watch it, and so I have. So friends, I want to say thank you to those who gave me word of encouragement as, I discovered this thing and started going through it. And so I say thank you to you all for that. So again, this thing is just a money pit for everybody involved. And this is what they do. This is what they want. I remember maybe about a month or so back, I discovered one of the reps in Florida, a leftist Democrat, who happens to be Haitian, as you all know, my culture as well. And so it was like Diabetes Month or something. And it was on Facebook, and I replied to her, and I said, instead of celebrating or being awareness Diabetes Month, why aren't you making legislation? Why aren't you, she's in Congress, why aren't you making legislation and holding the FDA and these Food and Drug Administrations accountable for what has happened to people and what is happening to the society with this problem? with everything being laced in sugar. Somebody once said, if you purchase practically anything in the middle of the aisle in the grocery store, all that is bad for you. Like, you live on the outside perimeters of that. So, you know, vegetables, fruits, and so on. That's where you live. But it's really difficult because everything else in the middle of the grocery store is bad for you because it is all sugar. So, yeah, I said this to her in the Facebook, and I said, yeah, why don't you make laws to really combat this problem instead of telling people to, you know, to make sure you get your sugar checked, make sure you, you know, get your insulin, make sure you go and get your pills, make sure you get your medicine. Why don't you attempt to fix the problem, friend? Why don't you attempt to fix the problem? Why don't you make legislation, call out the FDA, call out these drugs administrations, call out the food companies, call them out, and really do something for the people? Yeah, I got nothing back from them. I got nothing. But any event, that kind of came to mind, and I had to throw that in there. But it's true. This is why you're in DC. This is why people are, you know, you put them in office, is to advocate for we the people, not for the government, not for these corporations. But we all know that it's these corporations that keep them in their cushy seats, in their cushy jobs, making, what do they make now? Gosh, did they get a raise? I think they make like $264. Like, is it $264 or $164? I can't remember. But whatever the number is, it's pretty high. And so you make all that money, and oh God, poor thing. I think there's a dog on the road. Poor thing. But you make all this money, and then they stay in their jobs. They're in there forever and ever and ever. And then when they're done, you know, with this job, and then they get a pension. You know, they get money for the rest of their life. And I'm like, my God. And then, of course, every year they get reelected. And, of course, they need the donor class. They need the corporations they need the PACs to keep them flowing, to keep them reelected. And so, of course, they're not going to be, you know, they have no allegiance to we the people when it comes to doing the right thing. So I called her out, and, you know, like I said, I got no nothing from that. But any event, so yes, now to me. So when I was in the hospital, they told me that I just wasn't feeling well, and like I said, I have a video going through all of this, but I'll just give the cliff notes. And so I ended up in there because I take care of an elderly gentleman, and I took him, a great vet, and I took him in for his, he had some issues, and I took him into the doctor. I took him to the VA, and the VA says, well, VA's another story. It's another nightmare story. Oh God, and plus they're woke. Every time I walk in there, I don't think I did a video about it. This Christmas, I went to the VA a few times during the holiday. Every time I walk in, they had the rainbow Christmas tree. I said every time I saw it, I wanted to, I was gonna say burn it. Yeah, that's a bad thing. But every time I saw it, I wanted to hurl. And any of it. And then they have woke literature everywhere. This is a safe place. Or even in their mental health area. I don't think I even made a video about this yet. But you would walk into their mental health area. I know I'm going on a tangent and going off subject, but I want to get this in. Hey, we've got 4 hours of driving. So yeah, I got a lot. So the VA is so woke that they have all of this literature, signage in their office. This is a safe place, rainbow colored, everything. And in their mental area, that's what I want to get to. Their mental area, they have please let us know what pronouns that you are interested. Oh, I have some people. Hello, folks. I got 2 people. Hi. Welcome. So they have these woke signage. So it says, and I took some pictures of them. I don't know if I've even made a video about all this, but they say, in the mental place, God, in the of the VA, they have, if pronouns are, tell us what we're supposed to say. Tell us your pronouns. Send it. How are you telling these people to tell us what your pronouns are when you are, this is mental, you are supposed to be the person helping them along with this here mental problem that they have? But no, they enforce it. Maybe enforcement is not the word. They are behind it. They endorse it that you are a mental person, but we are going to continue to, help you along with this thing. We're going to let you call yourself whatever you are. You say you're a she, but you're a he. Hey, we're okay with that. We're going to call you for whatever it is that you are, because this is a safe place. So my whole point of this is that they are really not helping these mental people with their mental problems. They are coddling. They are, they're making it okay for you to, they're not helping. They're not helping these mental people, is my whole point. And at some point, and every time I see it, I'll make a point. I'll be like, oh my God, is that true? Is that right? Like, I'll bring awareness to the sign. Like, yeah, I'm not down for that. Like, yeah. I'm like, wow, we're in mental and you got a sign like that? How are you helping these mentals? Like, how are you doing that? So I make a quick reference to them. Like, yeah, I see it. This bullshit. It's BS. We're going to try to keep it clean. Yeah, that's BS. I see it. And yeah, you're not helping people. This is coddling people. And you're not doing them any favors by doing this when you're supposed to be helping them with their mental issues. But any event, I threw the VA in because I thought about it. But any event, the reason why I was there, I ended up in the emergency room, was VA, and so we went to the emergency room, and I said, you know what, maybe this is an opportunity to have myself looked at. Actually, it was the Lord, the Holy Spirit was the one who said, you're in here, get yourself looked at. You're going to be here, get yourself looked at. So I said to them, look, I haven't been feeling well. I know something's wrong. Since I'm here anyway, can y'all look at me too? And so eventually they did. At first they resisted because I was there for somebody else, but they was like, okay, they looked at me. And once they did, it was like, oh my God, they strapped me up to machines. Oh my God, all this stuff. And so that's how I found out. And when they looked at me, my sugar was like 422. And they're like, wow, like, whoa, do you know what's happening? I'm like, no, I just know I don't feel very good. But yeah, so anyway, that's how I ended up in the hospital. And so when they took my A1C, which is, now I know, which is the last 6 months of how much sugar has
in 5.9 miles. Continue on I-75 North.
Okay, I-75 North. Keep an eye for that. So, so yeah, they said to me, the A1C over the last 6 months, this is what it was. And those numbers were 16.5 6.6 and a half. Oh, we're driving through the villages. We love the villages. Any event, so 16 and a half was the number. And the doctors was like, yeah, we don't even know how you're walking right now because we've never seen numbers this high. It was like, yeah, we don't see how you're even functioning, how you're even capable right now, because 16 and a half is like, we've never seen these kind of numbers. I was like, wow, I guess this is pretty bad. Like, this is really seriously bad. Like, whoa. And so, but last week, and I want to put this in there as well. So I put YouTube down for a week last week, y'all. I put it down because I went into some serious fasting and consecration. So I believe in it every year. We do it as a church. And so I went into the prayer. I went into Jesus. And I prayed about a whole lot of things, but I prayed a lot about my health. And so I prayed, God, please, I need this sugar to come down. Because when I left the hospital and they sent me home with the pill, the metformin, they sent me home with 2 kinds of insulins. Hi, people. Hello. They sent me home with 2 kinds of insulins. Here, let's break it down. So the pill, I gotta take it twice a day. And then the insulin, they sent me with 2, one long, one short. The short, first we'll start with the long. The long, I take it twice a day, morning and then night. And then the short, I take it every time I eat. So this is like, I gotta take needles and prick myself every time. So every time I'm putting insulin in 4 times a day, no, 3, yeah. Was it 3? 5 times a day. 5 times a day I'm pricking myself with needles. You see how I can't even remember how it is because I didn't do them. So that's how much I would do. And then not to mention the pricking of my fingers to check the blood, to check the sugar. Like, it was too much. I was like, Lord, when they sent me home like that day 1 at home, I was like, yo, this is a whole lot. I attempted it. I was like, yo, I ain't doing this. I'm going to trust God. I ain't doing this. I still have the medication. It's still sitting there. I haven't thrown it out. But I said, I'm not going to do this. This is crazy. I'm not going to live like this. And so I decided not to. So then, of course, I needed to start doing research on how to naturally lower my sugar. And so I started doing the research. And a lot of friends reached out and said, hey, this works, this could do it, this could do it, that could do it, this could do it. And so I started looking, and I'm so blessed because I knew of an Asian health food store not too far away. And so I knew exactly where to go to start getting some of this stuff. Like things you're not gonna find in Walmart. Well, I don't shop Walmart, but you're not even gonna find these things at Whole Foods. So these are like really, really natural stuff. And so I knew where to go. So I started going there, started looking at what they had, like all natural stuff, and I got on there. So supplements, teas, even mixed.
In 1 mile, continue on I-75 North.
Okay, 1 mile, continue on I-75 North, Ocala. Okay, we're here. So yeah, and so I knew where to go. So I started on that, and they had different ones. And again, another thing with the doctors, they didn't tell me like, okay, we've got this problem. So what's causing it? Yeah, we know it's sugar, but how do we fix it? Is it my pancreas? Is it the liver? Is it, what's happening? What do we need to focus on, like to try to fix this, as opposed to you just giving me insulin and pills? Like, how do we get this thing working again? Like, what do we got to take here? And so all they ever say, well, you need to deal with the sugar. Here it is. Here's your pills.
Continue on I-75 north.
No, friend, we're not gonna do it this way. It's not gonna go down like this. Cause I'm a believer, and this ain't how it's gonna go down for me.
Continue straight for 1 hour and 22 minutes to exit 435 I-10 toward Jacksonville, Tallahassee. All
right, y'all heard that. Okay, we're on 75 north now. I'm on my way. So, where was I? So I started implementing these natural things, and the pills, the supplements, and all of these things, and even the liquids, like I was saying, they have stuff that directly works with the liver, with the pancreas, all of these things. And so I started it, and that's what I'd been taking. So before we started our fast last week, the fast started on the 8th, and I had to do blood work on the 9th. So I went to church, got praying, God, I need this thing to be at 10, man. I need it to be at least by 10. I said I needed to be under 9. I needed to be under 10. Like, I need it to be under 10. Because all kinds of bad things can happen. Diabetes causes you to lose fingers. It causes you to lose limbs and arms and legs. I said, oh God, this thing could be bad. I need this thing to go down. I need the sugar to be right. You gotta fix this. And so I'm praying. So that was, again, the fast incorporates 7 days praying, fasting in the church, 7 days, prayer 3 days, 3 times a day, 6 a.m., noon, and 7 o'clock, 7 to 9. AmaniaSaluste Alpha services every day at the Lord's feet in his house praying. So day 1 was the 8th. And next day I went in, got my blood done, and my appointment to the doctor was yesterday. And I made a quick short about it. Did I make a short about it? Oh, you know what? I recorded yesterday. I didn't make the short. I recorded it so I could make it into a longer video later on. So when I left the doctor's, I made a quick short, but I didn't post it because it was for a regular video at some point. But now that I'm out here ranting, I may not post it. So anyway, I went, got my blood done. That morning, I prayed, God, we're putting the blood out there. I'm leaving it to you. And so yesterday, I went to the doctor, and, he whips out the results from the blood work. And I'm like anxious to hear, like, where's the numbers, doc? Where we at? How low has this sugar gone? Like, what are we doing? How low? He starts off with, you were in a really, the condition is really bad. You were at the 16.5. It's just been really, really something to see this. But here's your results. You're at 10. I was like 10.2 or something like that, I think it was. And I was like, oh, great. The numbers have gone down to 10. How wonderful. Thank you, Jesus. So I was like, oh God, 10. He says, well, yes, you know, you came in, it was really, really bad. 10 isn't great, but we need to get it down some more. And he's like, the medication seems to be really working. And I said, sure, doc, the medication is really working. Jesus. I said, thank you, Jesus. As soon as he walked out the room, I started praying. I said, thank you, Lord. I said, thank you, Lord, because from 16 and a half, now 3 months, and we are at 10. And so from what I understand, the numbers with diabetes, a normal number is, I think it's like 5, 6 is where a normal person would be. You're 5, 6, you're normal. And for a person who has diabetes, I believe the number is like 9. And for people who live in the 7, 8 box, that number is like pre-diabetic, I believe. So during my research, those were the numbers that I was seeing. And so I have this habit, you guys, of being on the road. Every time I see a Tesla, I go Elon Musk money. And I'm like, and now more and more and more, you see so many Teslas on the road, and I'm like, no wonder Elon Musk is so rich, because, yeah. Anyway, a Tesla just drew by. Any event, I prayed and I said, thank you, God, for taking care of this, for making this right for me. So now my numbers are at 10, and 3 months they've been taken down that much. It was a miracle. I mean, the doctor's like, so yeah, it looks like the metformin is doing what it's thing, and so we may have to lower this dosage. Now we're going to do a different game plan of the insulins, and this is, so he prescribed all different ways, you know. And I'm like, okay, doc, you keep doing your jumping jack flash. Yeah, didn't take your medication. So that's where I'm at, and so I'm just so grateful that it's been handled. And we got out of the fast Sunday. The 14th was the last day of the fast. And when I tell y'all, I was there 3 times a day. Even my pastor was like, Amania, you are dedicated. I said, yeah, Pastor Morgan. Yeah, I'm dedicated because I need God to do some things for me. I need him to do some things, and if this is what I gotta do to get it done, this is what I gotta do to get it done. So health is definitely on my top things, for, not that I make really, New Year's resolutions. I don't really make them, not that much anymore. I do work with a vision board, you know, I do that. Matter of fact, I have it on my phone now. It has a great video on how to put it all. So now that, instead of it being on like a big board, you do it digitally now, and it's my screensaver. So on that is everything that I'm believing in the Lord for, including my health. And so far so good, y'all. We ended the fast on the 15th. I've done my part. You know, I labored. And I prayed, and I prayed for not just me, but I prayed for you guys. I prayed for our party. I prayed for the country. I prayed for our leaders. Hell, I prayed for the enemy. I even prayed for Nancy Pelosi. I prayed for Joe Biden too. God help me. Oh, I did. I prayed for all of them. I prayed for the demons, the Democrats. And I prayed for our people in our party, and I prayed for everybody, because God help us. And especially, I prayed for President Trump, and I prayed for our local leaders here, our leaders in legislation here in Florida. And I prayed for our great governor. You know, I don't know, when is he dropping out of this thing? That's another story. Let me not go in a different place. But I prayed for everybody, y'all. I just prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. And like I said, my health was definitely one of those things. And here I am, becoming healthy, becoming better in health, and God is doing some great things. So he's able and capable, and I'm just so grateful that I am a follower, and you know, he's doing some great things. And I plans, and I want to work. As you guys know, I do have a podcast, a new podcast, and it's called the City Talk Podcast. So I've got a lot of plans for that. Elon Musk money. I got a lot of plans for that, and I'm just so eager to get that going, and I've got some sponsors that's coming along, and so that's going to be great. And so there's a lot happening with me, and you know, there's a lot going on. So I'm just grateful for the opportunities that God is presenting and how he's using me in the work that I do and on the ground here. You know, it's not easy doing these things. It's not easy packing up and, you know, heading to Tallahassee and doing these things. And, you know, so God has just blessed me in so many ways. And I'm grateful a lot for YouTube and, you know, the people that support me here. And it's just been great. For you guys that support the channel, that supports, you know, merch items and so on, Patreon, to get me through. Like, you know, it's not, you know, all this stuff is not easy to get done. So I'm grateful and thankful for you guys and the support that you give to me, because we need more voices like mine out here who is not afraid to stand up against the nonsense, who because I'm telling you, when I pray for coverage, because this thing, we're fighting demons, y'all. We're fighting real demons. And you know who else I pray for? I pray for the folks that's doing this thing, that's got way more subscribers than me, that's got, you know, hundreds. I pray for the Hodge twins. I pray for Greg Foreman. I pray for Benny, our boy Benny Johnson. I pray for them all. Like all the guys that I watch, all the ladies that I watch, Candace, all of us out here that's standing up and speaking truth. Like, I started this channel because I knew I had a powerful voice. I knew God blessed me with the ability to speak truth. Like, I've always been that person to stand up and say, yeah, that's not right. Yeah, no, you know, that's wrong. That was really wrong of you to do that. Like, I've always been that person to call it out. And so when the Holy Spirit started talking to me about creating the channel, and I resisted for like a year, because I was like, I didn't want to do it. I said, God, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be on YouTube, or I don't want to be a voice out here in this space. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I like being behind the scenes. It wasn't that I wasn't in politics. I was still on the ground doing what I do now. It's just that, you know, I wasn't out here. So I like being in the background. I like being, you know, that person. I'll be that girl with you out there on the corner waving flags. That's just me. And so when I decided to take this fight to the arena, or I decided to accept God's invitation, I should say, because I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to, but I knew I had a voice that could really bring change, that a voice that could really do some things out here in these streets, in these social streets. So I knew I had that in me. And so when the time came and I said, God, I'm doing all this stuff on the ground, but I see that this arena is really online. I see that that's where our fight really is. And so I was like, okay, so I got to get into this thing. I got to get in the fight online, because that's where it is. That's where the battlefield is. That's where the war is. So the soldier is going to strap up and we're going to do this. And so we created the channel. And I know many people actually I sent out a community post on our anniversary, which was on the 12th. So January 12th was when I created the channel back in 2020. And it was powerful because I remember I had just created it, and in February was CPAC, and I was trying to tell people, hey, I got a new channel. I got a channel. It's called The Conservative Poet. They're like, The Conservative Poet? I'm like, yeah, I got a new channel. At that point, the channel, like, I'll give you another background on me, was that when I started the channel, oh my God, I'm hot. But the noise, when I put down the windows, is not good. Let's see if I can turn my air up. And so when I started the channel, it's The Conservative Poet, because God has, if you've ever read through my details on the channel, I used to write, well, I still write, but I used to do poetry live. So I've done some competitions and, well, gosh, yeah, is it on? It's so hot. Okay, so I've done some competitions and poetry slams and so on, and so I've been shy, yes, but I've always been outspoken. Oh, Elon Musk money. I've always been outspoken.
Watch out on shoulder ahead.
Okay. And so when I decided that I was gonna do this, I was like, well, it was going to be more of a spoken word channel. And so where I just, because I was like, I've got a lot of people out here talking about the issues in that way. And I was like, well, maybe I can bring it to them in a different format, conservative word, conservative spoken word. And I could bring it that way, bring a different view to the conversation. And so I was writing conservative pieces, content, and bringing them out as in spoken word. So the first video I did was that Let's Go Brandon piece. And I had reached out to a friend of mine, fellow YouTuber now. At the time, we were not fellow YouTubers. He was just a YouTuber. And this is Jeff from. And so I reached out to Jeff and I said, look, I got this channel that I've started. God, I'm hot, B. I gotta put this window down for a second. And so I reached out to our friend Jeff at Patron, and I said, look, I got this channel that I just created, and I sent it to him, and he called up his tribe, the Paint the Trump tribe, and everybody showed up on The Conservative Poet. And so that's how I got, my first couple of subscribers. And by the way, thank y'all, and thank you, Jeff, for that. And so like overnight, I had like 200 or so people joined this channel, so it was great. But I decided to call it the Conservative Poet because I was like, this is what I'm doing. Okay, so it'll be the Conservative Poet. And so as the channel progressed and I started to realize that, gosh, I'm missing out on a lot of the topics and things, and I'm not covering certain things, and I really want to be in there. And so I kind of just started talking about the issues. And then I realized that, you know, I have this comic sense, as y'all know. There's a little comedian in there. And the sarcasm in me was just over the top. And I was like, yeah, I gotta bring it like that. Like, this is, so the parody part of it came in, and it was like, well, let's have fun. Jean-Pierre, the affirmative action press secretary. And so that's how all of that started. And so it was great. And so, but now I'm like, people are like, well, the Conservative Poet, you don't do any poetry. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So, and I thought, well, maybe I should just change the channel to my name and just call it AmaniaSaluste, whatever. But I do really like the Conservative Poet. Every now and then I will do, and that's something I'm going to work on more this year, because it takes a lot more work to do the spoken. Because once I read, I have to write it. Like here, I don't do any scripts. I don't write anything, not really for my videos. That's just straight off the cuff. If you're watching me and whatever video it is, I don't script any of it, you know, and that's why I can rant a lot. And I never know where I'm going with my responses, because it's just, that's my actual, you know, response. So I don't script anything. So with my conservative, you know, my spoken word, I gotta write it, and like the spirit's gotta give it to me. I gotta sit down and write, and then I gotta connect with Eric, my producer, who would make it all lovely for me so it can be properly done, and then we can put it out there as a spoken word piece, and it goes on Spotify and all of these things. So it's different than just getting on here on and recording. So there's a lot of steps that goes into when I put a spoken word piece together. So I don't focus on them as much. And so, but hopefully this year I will be able to get one or two pieces out, because I think it's really important to kind of stick to how this channel really started. Because again, people are like, she's the conservative poet, but she don't do no poets. She don't do no poetry on here. So, and people are like, I'm confused about her channel. Like, I don't understand what she's the conservative poet, but she's not doing any poetry. So any event, that's how the name became. And so, because that's how the channel was started. So, but happy birthday to us. That happened on the 12th, and 2 years later, friends, I'm still at it because I see the vision. I see where we can go with this. My God, is it foggy out here? I see the vision of where this could go, and so morning, noon, and night, I'm gonna continue to fight and put the content out here. And this channel, I'll have to tell y'all, a couple of, gosh, how long ago was it? It was a while ago, where I got a strike from YouTube. Shocker there. And it was actually, the strike was when the Twitter files came out. And I know I made a video about it. I made a 30 second short, and I said in the short that we are no longer election deniers, because now we know the truth about the 2020 elections. And so YouTube pulled that 30-second short, and they gave me a strike, and they pulled my channel for 7 days. And so that has been, you don't see it, but in my dashboard behind the scenes, it says that you're a community violation. And but being that it's been on there for so long, they don't leave it on there, but I see it. So I had to take YouTube classes. I had to take classes on how to God, I had to take classes on how to be in the guidelines of the YouTube gods in order to get that handled. So I took YouTube classes. They now know that I've taken their classes. And so now that strike has to come. It needs to come off of my dashboard. And it's because they wrote to me and said that I now qualify for the YouTube partnership. And so I only have a little bit more to go. And so that disappears on the 29th. So I qualify now to apply for the YouTube partnership, which I wasn't before. So I don't get ad revenues or anything like that from this channel, but comes the end of January, I will be able to apply because that strike is going to be removed from my thing. And I'm like, God, I'm doing it like the next day. I pray to God it works out. So, but I took their classes to make sure that I know, you can't say things about the 2020 election. You all know that. So we can't say these things. We can't have those conversations. And so, I'm eager to see how that turns out. So again, praying that Jehovah, my Lord and Savior, my King, the Father, is taking care of that for me, so that the channel could become monetized, which will give me the ability to really be able to take care of myself, because having this sugar in my blood and going the natural route is not exactly, it's not cheap. And so I need funds to be. And by the way, thank you, whoever helped out with my GoFundMe. Somebody put one together for me, and it was protecting communities together. What is that? I'm always looking at these woke billboards as well. I missed what it said. Anyway, so thank you for those who contributed on the GoFundMe page when I did get sick. It really helped me because I was able to use those funds to get my natural medications that I needed. But this is like a constant thing to keep going. So, but I thank you all for that, because it really has gotten me on the right footing with being able to get all of the natural supplements and everything that I've been implementing into my body. Oh, horses! We love to see horses. That I've been implementing in my body. So thank you all for supporting the GoFundMe page. And matter of fact, it's still up. I haven't taken it down, or my friend hasn't taken it down for me. But if you're willing to help, it's there. I think I have it. It's in my description too. But in any event, I thank you for that, because it's been a great help. All of you guys who helped me out with that, so I could get my medications. So what else? What were we talking about? I don't know. I've been talking now for almost an hour. So, what I say, welcome to your live stream. Remember to go. Oh, all right. So, what else? I don't know what else. My jaw hurts. I think I'll take a break. So, thank you for taking in the time, tuning in and watching, and please continue to watch. I don't know how things is gonna work out while I'm down here, because this is gonna be fast-paced. We're going to be talking to all of the different legislatures. Got some meetings set up, so it's quick moves, going from one office to another, talking to them about bills. And I'm looking at a human trafficking bill that one our Florida Republican Assembly folks has put together, Catherine Robbins, who's in the human trafficking space, and so she was not able to go today, and so I'm going to be taking on that baton in reference to talking about the bill to our different reps and telling them thank you for taking it on, because her bill, I can't think of the number of the bill right now, but it's anti-human trafficking, and she, like I said, she's not able to do that, and so that bill has been picked up on the Senate, on the House side, but we have no partner in the Senate side. And so, you guys, and that's something I want to talk about a little bit more on this channel, especially because some of you all don't even probably look to see how all of these things work, how bills work, how all of this work. And I made a video last week. Did I live stream that, or how did that go? I think it was a stream. I think I lived it. And so, oh yeah, I did live stream it because I was gonna go through the bills anyway. I decided to just stream me doing it so you all could see. So it's critically important for us to know, especially in our state here in Florida. But again, it's, local, state, and then the congressional, because what we see on a small scale here on the local, they take that to Tallahassee on a larger scale. So the foolishness that we're looking at here at our, local woke people, our local folks, the commissioners, and all of these woke things that they advocate for. Well, guess what? When they pack up and take it to Tallahassee, it's more woke nonsense, but at the state. More, they're taking it from, local woke dog catcher, the local woke commissioner, the local woke, who else? Mayors, and then, all the way to the state representatives, and then, of course, to the Congress, and then, of course, to the presidency, the woke presidents like Biden. But in any event, we'll leave Biden out of this right now. So it's critically important to understand the whole setup. So when we're looking at bills in the congressional state, we would understand it even more if we knew how our states worked. Like, it's a little bit, there's cows. If we knew how our state worked, then when we look at the Congress and their things, then we would have a better idea of these things. It won't be. So when end of the year come and they're trying to cram down the American people's throats these bills, oh God, we need the Republicans to get on board. The Republicans is the ones holding, we might shut down the country because the Republicans aren't doing this, they're not doing this, and we've got 5 hours to get it done. And then you'd be like, yeah, we knew this was coming. We know that there are things happening that you don't want us to know about. And then last minute, you want to cram shit down our throats. last minute, you want to cram it down the American people's throat and say, well, we've got to keep the government open. We've got to keep the government open. And then our no spine, not all of them doesn't have spines. We've got people like Matt Gaetz who do have spines. So we know that, that these bills, when they're passing them out at the congressional, that, again, woke bills. And so, but if we take a minute to look at our state bills and what's going on there, then we have a better idea of what's happening, and we're not going to buy their nonsense, so that's why it's critically important to really understand things at the local, and then of course to understand it at the state. And so the bills that I looked at the other day on the live stream is one, and I only looked at folks in our immediate area. I didn't look at everybody else's bills, but because I knew this trip was coming, and I wanted to just look at bills to see where we are and what we got going on. And so this anti-human trafficking bill that I'm going to be looking at today in hopes of talking to people and the senators on the other side, because we don't have a partner for this bill in the Senate side. We have somebody who picked it up on the House side, but nobody on the Senate. So if you know anything about all of this, that's why I talked a whole lot about the bills earlier. It's because if we don't have a partner bill in both houses, there's a chance that it's not gonna live. There's a chance that it's gonna die right there. It's not gonna move. So it's critically important to be able to find somebody in the Senate side to say, okay, I'm willing to sponsor this. I'm willing to work with this. I'm willing to take it all the way to the governor's desk. We're willing to get it through the committees and everything that it needs to do so we can get it done. So one bill I'll talk about real quick was last year. Now, the school choice bill that we got across and got that to the governor's desk and he signed it was the school choice. And, people on the other side, I was shocked to see people here in Tallahassee. Pastors. I tell you, some of these pastors, man, there's a special place in hell for them, because they are not really out here doing God's work. They're not out here doing God's will. And one of the key people I prayed for most during my fast and consecration was the pastors. Anyway, we'll talk about them later if I decide to. But yeah, there were pastors down there who were literally out here opposing school choice for children having options to be pulled out of these woke schools so that they could be in a Christian school. Shouldn't you be advocating for that, pastor? Any event, so last year that bill got through, and we did the same thing. We were able to find somebody to pick it up in the senator's realm, but that bill they'd been trying to get it passed for a long time, for years, and it actually finally happened. So, and it was the expansion, and so it gave opportunities to children, more kids who were not going to have, the option of being educated in a better environment where they weren't being indoctrinated the way, these schools are indoctrinating children. So we're not going to get into that rant right now, but so, and with this human trafficking bill, so it's new. We're hoping to find somebody in the Senate to take it. And you know what else I noticed? There's a lot of bills, but there's several on anti-human trafficking. and many of them have not been picked up. I don't know if they want to have human trafficking. Do y'all think they like having that? They like having this thing here, trafficking children, molesting children, raping children, and again, it's not, enslaving people the way they do because it's happening. It's real. It is happening. But do you think they may like it this way? The powers that be, I don't know, former presidents and who likes them young, not calling anybody out, Bill Clinton. God. I didn't even make any videos about the list because I was saying, I have to catch up on some videos. I didn't touch it. I didn't watch none of it because I couldn't afford to miss out on what God promised me. So I didn't watch any of this stuff during the fast. But now I gotta play catch up and try to catch up, and I'll probably make some late videos, so forgive me for coming to the party late on that here Epstein nonsense list. So any event, so yeah, that's what we're doing today in Tallahassee, and again, we're doing the same thing tomorrow. We've got appointments with the legislatures. Again, we're talking to them, thanking them in advance for being a great advocate for the people and doing their job. This is how you got in. We got you in, and now we're coming to Tallahassee. Elon Musk money. We're coming to Tallahassee so you can know that, yeah, we're watching, we're here, we're thanking you for your support, and don't forget who got you in. So that's why this is part of it. It's like, we see you, we hear you, so make sure you're doing what we got you in for. And make sure you're looking at the bills that we want you to look at. We didn't knock doors for nothing. We didn't campaign for nothing. We didn't give money for nothing. Yeah, we didn't spend hot days in the sun for nothing. This is the payoff, baby. And we're coming to hold you accountable. So that's part of it. And so it's always great fun to meet them. We're gonna, as Lou says, we're gonna shake some hands and kiss some babies. That's what we're doing. So it's another way to say, yeah, we're paying attention. We didn't just pack you up and send you here. We're paying attention to what bills you're working on, how things are going in committees, what you're doing. And this is the same thing we need to be doing at the congressional level. These people in the Congress, they think that they can do whatever the hell they want to. It's because at the local, we'll use even at the local stuff, the commissioners and all of them say, hey, this is what you ran on. This is what you did. Call them up. Hey, show up to those, what are they called? The meetings, the updates. And that's actually another thing I'm going to be doing for us locally. And I'm not going to do that through the Conservative Poet. I'm going to do that through the podcast, the City Talk podcast. And so I'm going to be showing up to the, what are they called again? The meetings. God, these city council meetings. And so I'm going to try to go to at least one. I don't know if they do them weekly or if it's a monthly thing. I don't know. I've been to some, but I want to make that a part of that channel or the podcast because I think, and because it's City Talk, and I want to bring that voice to that podcast to show the public, these things locally and how we are looking at these mayors, and these local commissioners that we've put in, like, and when I went to one of these commissioner, I didn't make a video about it. Sometimes it's really a lot to try to record out there, come home and try to edit and do all of these things. So a lot of things that I go to, a lot of you guys don't see half of it. And now that I'm utilizing shorts more, I'm able to bring you a short here and there. So, but for the City Talk podcast, I'm going to do that, start going to the city council meetings, and I may do them live if possible. I may do shorts if possible, but I want to start bringing that in. I want them to start seeing that, you know what, we have other people in the room who's going to hold you accountable. Like, and what I noticed when I went, and I've actually watched them too on TV, is that there's no pushback from anybody on the when they're talking about whatever they're doing. If it's a new business, or they're doing this, or they're shutting down this road, whatever it is that they're doing, there's never anything. It's just nobody opposes the motion pass. No opposed, the motion pass. And I'm like, nobody has anything to say about anything? Like, how is that possible? Like, how do you not have something to say about anything? Everything goes through. So, and that's at the local with the commissioner. So I want to start focusing and keeping an eye on that. And even if I don't get to the meetings physically, they do have them recorded. If I'm able to even live stream it and watch it like that, then I think that's something I want to do, because the more and more I get entrenched in all of this, the more and more I realize that we've got to hold these locals accountable. And on these locals, we do not have any concern. I'm talking commissioners now. I'm talking the Orlando, because we have city and we have county here. Neither one of them, nobody really pushes back. So my whole thing is, these people are all elected officials. And if their constituents are saying, hey, oh, you voted for this thing right here? And people don't know, because they don't inform you. You know nothing. Yeah, I'm working on your behalf. But they're working on their own behalf, because they want to push woke nonsense across the aisle. This is what they're doing. They all have an agenda. An agenda works hand in hand with the woke nonsense at the federal. So even at the local, they're all over this thing. And so our school boards, our commissioners, all of these people, we need to be looking at them. All of these elected seats, these people need to be held accountable. Whatever side of the aisle you're on, you need to be held accountable. And so I say all of that to say, when we're looking at the congressionals and people are not calling out their local, but they're not calling out their representatives or their senators and all of that. So yeah, we need to put the pressure on. If something is up and we need you to vote on it, yeah, we're gonna make phone calls. We want you to know that, yeah, I need you to make sure this thing goes through. I need you to make this happen, or I don't want you to make this thing go. I need you to not make this happen. So, but when they go to Congress, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them think that, hold on, I'm so thirsty. Hold on. Okay. So when they go to Congress, they go out there and they decide they're gonna do what they want. They're gonna do what their donors is what's in best interest of their donors. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And so they put we the people to the side because they need to make sure that those donors who sent them in money, those donors who sent in money, those nice packs that they were associated with, yeah, they gotta pay up now. And so now certain bills that's good for we the people, all of a sudden, they may not be voting proper on. And so when they do that, we need to say, hey, friend, I'm going to need you to vote the way we want you to vote. I'm going to need you to hold the line. I'm going to need you to grab your balls or whatever you got to do. Put on your big girl panties. Put on your big boy panties and grow some balls. Grow some balls and get it done. Right? And get it done. Whatever it takes for you to get it done, we need you to go ahead and get it done. Or else we're going to put the pressure on. Or else we're showing up. Or else we're making phone calls. Or else we're going to hold you accountable. And now that they have made impeaching people such a, and I'll just talk about it real quick. I didn't agree with it. I didn't make a video about it. But our friend in New York, what was his name? The one that they, removed. Oh, I can't think of his name right now. The Republican that they removed from office because, it's we the people that put these people in. And it's a very slippery road that these Republicans took and getting this guy out of office. Because I can't think of his name right now. For getting him out of office when, the people put him in. The people should be the one to put him out. And when the caucus takes it on themselves to say, yeah, we're going to impeach you because of these things, it's a bad look because guess what? I don't see Rashida Tlaib being impeached for heading an insurrection at the Capitol over this Palestine Muslim protest that she was doing in the Capitol and bringing it inside of the House. She ain't been impeached. She ain't had they ain't do nothing to her. She living the good life. And when she does it, it's not an insurrection, it's freedom of speech. While our January 6ers are rotting away in a fucking cell. It's not freedom of speech then. It's an insurrection. It's an insurrection for us. And people are rotting. Matter of fact, that was on my drive up before I started the live stream. That's what I was praying about because that subject came out last night in my FRA meeting. And these people are still, rotting away in prison. And for what? For showing up to our nation's capital to express our freedom of speech, to express our, our thoughts in reference to an election that did not go so well, right? And so we go to do our thing and express ourselves peacefully, yeah. And I'm going to always say peacefully because people were there peacefully. And yes, some things happened. I'm not all too sure that, again, it wasn't a setup. So, yeah. In any event, I'm going to get off this subject about that, but I think it's really shameful that there hasn't been, if they want to do it to one of our own, then we should be able to do it on both sides. We should be able to if this is what we're doing, then it shouldn't be, then you should be able to take down Rashida Tlaib because she headed an insurrection in the Capitol, in our sacred offices, you know, as they like to say, our sacred offices. Yeah, when they do that, it's just freedom of speech, right? It's not an insurrection. It's just exercising our freedoms. So yeah, it's a disgrace. And so I started all this to say that the guy that they impeached over these things, it should be we the people, you know, that really should hold that power, because it wasn't them that put him in, the people put him in. And so it should be the power of the people to remove him. So I didn't like that idea of them doing it. But with that being said, then why don't they have, you know, the same smoke for the Democrats, for Rashida Tlaib, for her insurrection? Why aren't those people locked up? Why aren't they in prison? Because the game is rigged, friends. The game is rigged. And it's rigged against us. Oh, help us, Jesus. So, in any event, what I was saying is that I'd like for us to be able to not let these people go to DC and think that they can do whatever they want to and vote on bills that's not good for we the people, when we should be holding them accountable. We should be saying, look, we've done our research, we see this, and we don't like it, and we don't want you to vote on this, or we want you to vote whatever on this. You know, that's what they're there for, because they are our voice. And many of them think that, well, you know, I'm going to do, you know, what I want to do and not do what you, the people, want, because, again, it's time to pay back the donors. It's time to pay back the lobbyists. It's time to pay back those people that put the money in for them. I think there should really be laws about certain things, but again, look at Nancy Pelosi and how she's climbed the ladder with these. Let's. I'm not gonna go to her, but again, these people, they do whatever they want and not follow what we, the people, voted them in to be. So again, we, the people, should be able to exercise our rights and say, if you're not doing it, then we, the people, have the right to pull you out. And so. But yeah, friends, I think I'm gonna say sayonara for now. I said that like 30 minutes ago, right? I don't know how this is gonna go entirely, how I'm gonna record, if I'm gonna do some shorts, if I'm gonna do some live streams, maybe short live streams, in reference to it. I may. You know, we'll see how things go. Maybe I actually did a video when I was back there in February last year, when I did a video about the museum that used to be the first house, that used to be the first office, and now we have a much bigger, you know, office. But the old office, they turned it into a museum, and if you've never been, it's great. And I made some videos about the museum, going through it and seeing all of the artwork, all of the artifacts, all of our history. And I did a couple of videos in reference to, because they kept all of them. Like, they kept everything from like history-wise. Like, it's amazing, the stuff that's in that museum. if I get a chance, I've been I've been to the house. I've been to the judges area. I think I've got like 2 more places that I did not visit, because every time I was going through it, I was videoing, and so I still have a couple of places to go. So if I'm able to, I will probably try to do that and go through the museum again so y'all can see. But in any event, I'm gonna get off of here, and I will see you guys when I see you. So God bless you. I thank you again for everything here, everything that you guys do, and have a blessed day. God bless. Take care. I gotta stop this now. Oh God. How do I stop it? Oh. How do I stop it?